Coming out. You are a lunatic. You want to help? Alice! Oh, we're going to get the door. I think I've gotten the reputation of being somewhat odd. They just see me coming in and going down that road that looks like it goes nowhere, and every now and then they'll see me up the road tugging a yak, so they say, well, maybe we shouldn't go down there until we talk to the guy. And nobody knows how to get in touch with me. Years ago, when I lived in California, I raised some buffalo, just as pets. I had 3 of them. I had them for about 5 years, and then things in life changed, and I got divorced and ended up moving back to New England. And I really wanted to raise some large animals again. I found some yak out in western Massachusetts. I went to visit them, and sure enough, I said, you know, that'll do, that'll do. And so I bought 3. I felt comfortable having maybe 10 to 12. Then all of a sudden they started reproducing at 4 and 5 every year, and I wasn't quite ready to sell any. I ran out of names right around the 12, 13 mark, and I started naming them after neighbors and friends and my sister. Yak are so different, and yak are so unique that there's not much known about them. They surprise you all the time. It's a learning curve. You learn something every day. They're exotic. There's not too many in the United States. Probably I'd say maybe 4,000 or something like that. I may be wrong. But they're a unique animal in that not only are they used for meat, but they're used for fiber, for packing, for doing work. I even saw a picture of some guy had a plow attached to one of them at one time. So they're a unique animal and very intelligent, very curious, and if you interact with them enough, they get to be extremely chummy, very friendly, and just good animals to have around. If they see an open door, they'll come in. I don't generally let them in, but occasionally I will if for some reason there's need to. If I have to medicate one or one is being picked on incessantly, I'll say, oh, come on in for a little while. And so they come in. They think of it as special treatment. But I will say that any more than 2 or 3 in the house can generate some pandemonium. All right, I'm going to get you some. Just a minute. So the fiber industry is very strong for yak. The long hair in the yak and the undercoat, the down, is very prized by hand spinners. I live so far from the road that I had to do something. I didn't want to bring power in. It would cost a fortune, and I don't use that much power anyway. So I decided to go a light footprint. I make my own power here using solar panels, and I have 4 rooftop mounted wind generators. They feed into a battery bank, a 12-volt battery bank. From there I can convert it into 110 volts. And so I have regular household current, and I have enough to live my life, to do my work, to run power tools. On occasion when the batteries run low, or if I have to run some watt-sucking device like the water pump or a few other things, I have a backup generator. Oddly enough, as soon as you get into this, it's a whole different paradigm. You think differently. You think, you go out to buy some video equipment or something. The first thing that comes to my mind is, do I have enough power to run it? And you start looking at the efficiency on the unit. Do I really need this? Can I use something else manually that doesn't take power? And it's a whole different way of thinking. You'd think that you just step into it and it impacts your life, but it doesn't. It just grows with you. It was just not an uncomfortable transition at all for me to move from all the power I needed in the world to living like I'm living. it's like magic. Especially that first time you plug something in and fire it up and all of a sudden there's lights or sound. Kiss, 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 kiss. Oh, I would have got a headache. I make my living as a writer. And being so isolated, if I don't go out very much, I start losing my ability to communicate. You know, I find it harder and harder I struggle for words, whatever, and being a writer, that's not good. So the Yak have been really instrumental in keeping my vocabulary, keeping me communicating, because we talk all the time. We go out and sit on the Yak porch and, come here, tell me a story. And they like it as much as I do. Just raising the Yak for companionship. I live so far from the road in the wintertime, nobody comes through the pass. I mean, it's isolation in its finest sense. I've got nobody to talk to but the Yak and of course the dogs, the Sisters of No Mercy. I'm continuously talking to them. So companionship is important to me. I hate you, Stage. She's pretty too. I just hate to see it. This is Pistol Polly soup. All of them are friendly, but they go through this stage, not all of them, but a good percentage will go through the stage about 1 year old, between, I'd say between 7 months old and a year and a half. They get a little bit cranky. It's like they're testing you, finding their position in the hierarchy. Now they're not, they're not going to hurt you or anything, but they make these mock charges and shake their heads, and then one day it just magically disappears. It's like, this guy isn't a threat. I don't know why I'm doing it. Or maybe it's hormones, I don't know, but they just get over it. They do have different personalities. Some are much more friendly than others. Others are standoffish, but yet, they like the contact. I mean, they'll come up to you rather than you go to them. So they're each is different. They put up with me and I have to put up with them. There's a lot to learn from Yak. They're very intelligent, they're very curious. Patience. Yak are very patient animals. And if they go out in the field and you want to bring them to another field, you got to make them think that that's what they want to do, because otherwise they'll just stand there and wait until it's time to do it. You just have to outwait them. And you can pull and you can struggle and you can, try to get behind them and give them the shoulder. But it's best just to wait them out, and they'll always come around. It's just patience is my key. And they're so easygoing for the most part. I think that's another thing that I've gotten from them. That you go out and you talk calmly to them, slowly, and they respond. If you go out and start jumping around, acting like a madman, well, they will too. You know that you have their trust. There's a special sign that you can tell. And you can see it when you're scratching them. They always want to be scratched and petted and whatnot, but they'll always have their eye on you, as you're scratching. But then when they trust you, they don't have to look at you. They may close their eyes or just look off into space. Well, as you're scratching, they trust you then. And it's a good sign. It's never failed me. It wasn't through any planning. You just let it go and see what it is that you enjoy, and listen to your inner voice and go where you want to go. Go where you want to go. And as long as you're not hurting anybody or doing anything that's going to bring you harm or the world harm, you're in harmony. Go for it. It's a lot of fun. I've never been so happy in all my life. I would, if I died tomorrow, I'd say it's all been worth it. I've made a difference. This is what it's all about.